So, sister, I just wanted to flesh out how we avoid using archaic radio transmissions and how we actually communicate, using cosmic rays or muons, etc.
Yes, but there's a main trick here. The lepton muon neutrino, closest human name for the particle, or energy frequency better said, is only the tool to cause an effect on a field in the ether. And it is the field in the ether what carries the coded transmission. It's like using little pellets you shoot at water to make waves. The neutrino are the pellets. The wave in the water is what carries the code. And that wave is harmonics of a frequency. Specific harmonics are mathematically encoded. A computer transmits them and another decodes them. The real media of transmission is not neutrino, it is gravity. As we can control gravity, we can also use it to transmit pulses of gravity to any direction or to all directions, like waves in a pond. No, neutrino are not going faster than light. They're only causing gravity fluctuations at a micro energy scale. Gravity is scalar, and it is a wave in the ether, so it knows no distances. It also does not diminish in power, diffuse over time, or over distance. And as you can play with its embedded frequency, then you can hear it isolated, even in the midst of the chaos of multiple gravity sources. So you shoot and vibrate neutrino to cause gravity waves. Then those will travel through the ether and reach the receptor, where it will again vibrate neutrino so the sensors can pick them up, the dancing, and decode the message. This allows us to talk real time with people back home, live, with no delay at all.
Oh, okay, I understand. And does that in any way use the 3D idea of entangled particles to achieve instantaneous transmission? Or is it simply controlling the gravity wave within the ether?
You must entangle the particles first. You can do that and encode them as well. The entanglement also occurs in the side of the ether, but using neutrino is faster, more accurate, and simpler to achieve. The trick here for humans is to be able to catch and use, manipulate neutrino, and that is not easy with human technology as it is now.
For certain.
We catch and manipulate neutrino using gravity again.
That is way cool, sister. Thank you for that expanded explanation.
You are welcome. This is the way 5D advanced interstellar civilizations communicate with one another. Radio and microwaves are simply archaic and silly.
Makes perfect sense to me. Otherwise, you could never communicate. Radio waves indeed. Ha! Pure baloney.
Of course, I have not gone into further technical aspects of this, but then again I can. No one uses radio any longer. It's all gravity. The problem on Earth is that they do not recognize the ether, so they're limited to the material side, and using only the material side, you cannot travel faster than light, and you cannot transmit anything faster than light either. Cannot be achieved without gravity manipulation, and in this case, microgravity manipulation. You have gravity manipulation on a macro scale with the ship's gravity-canceling engines and artificial gravity for the interiors, and so on. But this is micro-scale gravity manipulation.
The gravity wave is ever present in the ether, And so you just tap one end of the wave wherever you are, and instantly you reach the other end or place you want to go.
Little coded gravity bursts. If you're listening to the correct frequency, you can hear the transmission wherever you are, no matter how far you may be from the transmitter. This is a supraluminal technology applied on beaming information.
Like Morse code, but way more sophisticated. Got it.
Far more, we could transmit digital codes, ones and zeros, and it would work. But we use a holographic code that encompasses mathematical formulas inside not only ones and zeros, meaning we transmit everything at once, all the codes that can work or best to convey the information. That's why it's called holographic, because it includes all the codes at once. Now, as you can expect, the frequency of coded gravity is so high it can contain billions and billions of terabytes a second.
So, you could apply in human terms amplitude or frequency modulation as well?
I guess you could use those terms, but it would be in a micro scale as the frequency is very high. So each modulation notch you use contains microsegments loaded with billions of terabytes. So it would be wise to use new terms. Besides, modulation does sound like radio.
Yes, it does. But just trying to grasp the extent of the manipulation of the gravity carrier wave.
I can load the entire content of the human internet from this ship to Taiketa and send it in a single information burst. It is that dense, that information packed. It is at a very, very ultra-high frequency of gravity carrier wave, but the strength is very intense.
Wow! And of course, even the human so-called quantum computers could not grasp this tech.
Those are a joke, a school experiment, no more. Sorry to bash.
I understand and agree. But then I would expect that, sister, for 800,000 years of advancement.
Now, combine this communication in coded gravity using neutrino with holographic computers using millions of nanoparticle accelerators, and the neutrino transmitters are also a complex array of particle accelerators. This tech is high even here. The array uses byproduct neutrino bursts. Do you know BB guns?
Yes.
Those that shoot .556 caliber little plastic pellets?
Mine shoots lead, but yes.
That is your particle accelerator. Then you shoot them at water with specific intervals. Then on the other side of the pond, you have a series of floaters that decipher the waves and the crests in the water and send the pattern to a computer to be decoded. The BB's .556 caliber are the neutrino. They are the ones that cause a disturbance in the ether gravity field. We shoot them at the field and they cause an effect. Lepton, muon, neutrino dance in and out of the ether, half in this world, half in the other. The problem we constantly face here is semantics. We may call things by the same name, but we many times mean different things. So, lepton, muon, neutrino is the best term we have to describe this. Another is positron or positronic. It may mean different things for humans and for us, as positron or a proton is very 3D. And we're talking about a very high 5D, scalar, 9D, 8D to 1D array of frequencies and particles that also behave like a wave and like a particle at the same time. So light might be a better term, but if we use light storms instead of positronic storms, people or you will think we're talking about visible light, like blinding everyone, and this is not the case. So I fall short of the correct words here. A particle cannot be found as a BB 556 pellet can, but it is a way to describe this. It is only a particle when it is seen or observed. Basic 1909 physics. In all other circumstances, it is nothing but potential energy. So I used BB gun pellets to describe the encoding of a field, like water, with a mathematical predictable or readable code. But we can say we shoot energy waves that cause a disturbance in the ether side, and that disturbance can be encoded with information to be conveyed and used. I have the feeling that is thought to be neutrino conveying the message. This would be an oversimplistic explanation of the entire system. It is based on neutrino, but the real media here is gravity. Muon are a flavor of neutrino. Flavor is a human term in physics, as in a quality or a variant of a particle. We must see that human technology and Taigetan technology are so different, there hardly is anything in common we can ever use as a crude reference. So it is hard to describe how anything works. "5D ET races are said not to use radio frequencies for their transmissions as they are slow and dangerous. It's true. No one uses that. Encoded muons in the lepton-muon neutrino band are said to be used, since they are or exist on the border between material and non-material, as between layers with the astral, sliding from one side to another. In itself, it's not like the radio or microwave frequencies, where the same wave that expands until it reaches a receiver tuned to the correct frequency, and the stereo device translates it into sounds. In itself, it's a mistake to think that the muon or the neutrino is the one that does the job of traveling to the destination to deliver the message. In reality, this technology uses the muon or neutrino as a precursor or impeller to create a gravitational pulse, and that is what does the job. So the neutrino causes a coded gravitational impulse which travels to the destination, coded gravity. Since gravity is of the very high frequency, it transcends densities and is beyond time. It uses the principle of non-locality too. In other words, what the encoded gravity transmits can be detected practically anywhere in the universe without losing signal strength. There isn't just one technology that accomplishes this, but several. The first one uses frequency-controlled particle accelerators to manifest the neutrino of the correct flavor. Flavor is a term in Earth physics to name the types of particles of the high energy class like the neutrino. So the particle accelerator emits the neutrino, and the pulse of the emission gives the code to be interpreted as a readable signal, simplifying the signals so that they are understood, since they are very complex, not like ones and zeros, binary signals. The accelerator is subject to a system that controls the frequencies or internal harmonics of the frequency in order to emit a particle exactly as desired. This is controlled by the computer and works similarly to materializing objects by printing them with a tractor beam, only small, using nanoaccelerators of particles the size of a small microchip, about 0.5 millimeters long, although they vary in size. Confidential coded broadcast between sender and destination. The accelerator will fire the neutrino, which in turn, due to the simple fact that it has been formed, causes a small gravitational alteration, which is what is actually used. This is because all concentration of energy, with or without mass, is caused by the presence of localized gravity. This is passed to a very small portal generated by the same device that has a specific frequency known to both the sender and receiver, and that portal frequency is confidential. So the neutrino coding does not come out of the device and is passed through the portal to wherever the destination is, creating an undetectable closed circuit. In the case of broadband emissions, or for everyone, flashes of neutrino are sent, which in turn cause specific gravitational alterations to them, but this time in the lengths of frequencies known as public. They are sent with great energy, that is variable, and it is the alteration of gravity at a specific frequency that travels and is detected by the devices on other ships or planets. And if they have the synchronization capacity, they will be able to read the message. You can also use a portal attached to the muon's generator to create specific bandwidths and not transmit in all directions, creating filters or limited amounts of receivers. The use of nanoportals attached to the impellers and pulsars, neutrino generators, is widely used in ships because at low energy it can transmit at long distances without the signal being broad spectrum. The most complex point of the system is not the portal, which is easy, only imposing a high energy tunnel with frequency magnetism controlled by computer through which the emission of muon passes. The most complex point is the muon generator itself. It fires a mother particle, white with the same base frequency, and the accelerator, high energy magnetic impellers and pulsars change their frequency or flavor using the dominant frequency principle. The use of nanotechnology here is consistent with the application or use of polymorphic supermaterials that self-repair when damaged by high operating temperatures, and of superconducting crystalline gold cables. Despite the fact that crystalline gold is superconducting at room temperature, the muon's transmission system remains at temperatures well below zero, close to minus 273 degrees Celsius or absolute zero. I could expand in any direction if necessary, but I think that's already a video.
Yes, many thanks. I have some questions. We are talking about muons and neutrinos. What exactly would they be and what is the difference? I think you said something about energy particles.
Neutrino has many flavors, like muons or quark. In other words, the neutrino is more generic than a muon that has a more specific frequency. neutrinos, muons, quarks, tau, electron.
Thanks. I understand that creating such a machine is complicated. And this technology, is it on Earth?
Yes, in part, the Russians and the Americans have it. Partly because, as in everything, there are various degrees of development of refinement of this technology and variants.
And who has passed this knowledge on to them?
I don't understand.
Where did they get this knowledge from? Retro-engineering of ships or extraterrestrial races?
It is very difficult for them to go beyond the simple decryption of materials.
So the Russians and the USA know that SETI is a fraud or the cover for something.
Yes, it is to make it look like they're doing something to detect extraterrestrials.
And what can be SETI hiding? Money diversion?
Not even that. SETI is very poor. It's pathetic. SETI is probably the most pathetic program I've ever seen. Let's see. Who uses radio when you have coded gravity? They're not neutrinos. That is used to cause the gravity that does the work.
And the Russians and the USA listen to the ETs?
Yes, that's how they talk to them.
But they don't understand, I imagine, what they hear.
Yes, they understand because the extraterrestrials speak English and Russian well.
Wow, how exciting. Right now, I am one of the few humans who talks to an extraterrestrial.
I think if you sat on the bus, everyone who speaks directly to extraterrestrials, there would still be empty seats.